Hey guys, Doug here with another Tech Tip Tuesday. Welcome back. Today we are getting closer to needing the Nova to be ready for Texas 2K, so I'm mounting up a new set of drag radials on it, some 275/60s from Mickey Thompson, and mounting them on easily the best wheel ever made, a Mickey Thompson drag wheel. RIP, they don't make them anymore. And we have a set of double bead locks by MacFab. One of the questions I get a lot from people just, in passing is, how do you balance your double bead lock, drag radials, whatever? If, you're at the racetrack and you're trying to switch tires, or you're a day ahead of time and you just don't have time or have a good shop to go balance them, what is the method you use? And I've used this method and kind of reinforced it because my buddy Ron Rhodes uses the same method. I've noticed a lot of other drag racers, and it seems archaic, it seems overly simple, but it's like $100 worth of equipment that you can put in your own garage, and for drag racing it works great. It gets the balance really darn close, and it's good enough to go down the road for race week for me, and it's also good enough to go down to the drag strip for cars that go 190, 200 mile an hour in the eighth and in a quarter. So I'll show you what I got, and it's going to be pretty easy for you, and I think you can add it to your tools in your garage and take all the hassle out of it going forward. So what we have here is a bubble balancer. You can get these on Amazon, at different parts stores. You can get them just about anywhere. I think they're like usually 60 to 100 bucks depending where you get it from. And it's pretty simple. You have a base. Up from that, there's just a little point that holds this top piece, and just basically balancing itself. So what you do is you end up putting your wheel on top of it, and you center the hub, and you're basically trying to line the bubble up. From there, once you see and get a baseline, we're going to add lead weights, stick on lead weights, and I'll show you the process. But it's very simple. Like I said, this is a tool you can have one in the trailer, and you can have one in your garage and never have to worry about it. And it's probably cheaper than balancing them at a store or a local shop. So the first step, trust me on this one, you want to clean the back of the wheel as best as possible. Get all the brake dust and grease and grime off of it. Take some brake clean, wipe it down, let it dry, because when we switch it over and put it on the balancer, we're going to want to be able to stick some lead weights on there. And you want them to stick. If it's dirty or greasy, oily, it's not going to stick, and then you're going to have to do it 2 or 3 times, and that's frustrating. So get them clean first. Next up, you're simply just going to set the wheel right on the center. Nothing special is needed. When you set it down, there's a little tapered hub, so it's going to actually kind of center and seat itself. Unbelievably, this thing actually doesn't need any weight. It's hard to believe, to be honest with you, but there's actually a little spring-loaded thing you can push in here. It might just need a tinge of weight on this side, but just like a level you would use, you can see the bubble, I think. Just like any bubble level that you would use, all you're doing is trying to move one side to get to the other side. So a good thing to do is hit this a couple times, make sure it's all reset, make sure it's moving freely and floating freely, and then you're good to go. Depending on what wheel and tire you have is going to be kind of what's dependent on how much weight you put on it. If you've never balanced wheels and tires, cheap wheels a lot of times will take a ton of weight to balance out. Some, just depending on the tire placement, sometimes you can rotate the tire and reseat it, and that'll help. If you find yourself way out in left field, I would always dismount the tire, move it, rotate it around, and try it again. Something is either not centered or not seated correctly. So we got these little stick-on weights. What we're going to do is peel the back off of them. One thing you can do, because this one isn't really off by a whole lot, you can just try to just set a couple weights in the location, and it'll actually move the bubble. And once you get it close, you just put them, basically right down from that on the back side, inside of the hoop. One thing you'll want to make sure is if you have clearance issues with your brake caliper, you want to put those away from where the brake caliper is. Otherwise, as soon as you put the car on the ground, it's going to knock them off when you go to move it. So just be cognizant about that. Like I said, a clean surface will take care of all the other problems you have as far as sticking that. So I'll go ahead and move this to the bottom. What I'm going to do is peel the stick off of it. You can actually do that ahead of time if you're smart. So we're going to go straight down from there. This isn't an exact science, so yeah, it's pretty good. So we'll take it off, make sure everything is stuck on there, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so this wheel didn't take much weight at all. It only took half of an ounce, which is very rare, but what you want to do is make sure, you know, if it takes, say, 2 full ounces, you don't want to go from here to here with it. You want to put 2 small strips or maybe 3 small strips in the hoop there to keep it centered, because the further you get it out, the further off balance it is. And then the next thing I do, just to prevent it coming off, is I got a little tip for that. All right, because the hot and the cold on these wheels, probably more the extreme hot than anything, will sometimes make that adhesive get gooey, gummy, and then it'll start to peel off and fall off. So a little tip I figured out was to use this foil tape. This stuff is made to go hot and cold because it's used in HVAC. So once it sticks to metal, it just stays on there. It's a little hard to peel off between tire changes, but it's not that bad. But I would rather have this hold it on. So I will just take a piece of this, and since we already have a clean surface, pull the back off and just stick it and push it around the edges. And that'll keep this on there. Even if that gets a little loose, this isn't going to come loose. And it tried and true method for me. This stays on really well. And it's not really like black or white, so the silver kind of blends in, especially if you have a more open wheel. It doesn't look really ugly. A little tip within a tip here for you. All right, so you can see the final result. Just kind of push it around down on the edges. I'm sure somebody can do a better tape job than I can, so don't make fun of me. But that's it, guys. That's all it takes to balance your drag radials or drag tires. $100. The weights you can find online a bunch of different places. They sell them in different packs and different weights. Most of them are all 1/4 ounce little squares, but then they sell boxes. They're like 4 pounds, and they sell some that are 1 pound. So you can grab those just about anywhere. And even local parts stores a lot of times have them. You just have to ask them, and they're usually in the back because it's something that a install shop would come and get, or they would deliver to them. They don't really have them out on the shelf, so that's where you can get that. Anyways, this is like $100 worth of equipment. Very easy. It allows you to do it on your own time schedule, between rounds, whatever, and makes the job a lot simpler. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've taken drag wheels and tires to install shops, and you really got to find a good one that's willing to do this or not complain about it or have some weird safety sign-off crap that they make you do and all this stuff. So simplicity. Make sure that you're kind of in charge of your own program and your own maintenance. I hope you guys enjoyed this Tech Tip Tuesday. It's not always about Motion Raceworks parts. I just want to show you guys kind of how we run our operation, some of the things we do to make everybody's lives a little easier. If you have questions or you have a topic you want covered, drop them in the comments below. We'll do our best to cover anything we possibly can or anything that we have knowledge about. If we don't have knowledge about it, we probably won't cover it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you later. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Later.